I'm Neil Smith. To say that my life on dry land is a hectic one would be an understatement. I'm a single father raising my 3 wonderful children on my own. I encourage and support my children working part-time, as well as caring for my eldest son who has cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is caused by abnormal development of the brain or damage to the developing brain that affects a child's ability to control his or her muscles. What is important to me is giving my children an opportunity to bond with nature. When children come into contact with nature, they reveal their inner strengths. And there is nothing more special than experiencing the natural world and cherishing quality time with my family. My love of the sea and the rivers and everything nautical sprang to life in the mid to late 90s when I worked as a photographer on board cruise ships travelling the world. Being a keen photographer since the age of 15, my skills as a landscape photographer have been recognised both nationally and internationally, and my photography has been published in various books and magazines worldwide. Owning a river cruiser has been a burning ambition of mine, and I fell in love with Teasel the minute I laid eyes on her. The beautiful, unspoiled River Nene has become my playground, the place I can escape and relax, my source of inspiration, my place where my best and happiest memories are made. Boating, riverside scenery and photography. What more could you want? In this episode, we will be taking a wonderful cruise to the picturesque village of Wadenhoe, where I will be exploring the Lyveden Way by foot. Taking in the rural countryside and majestic ancient woodland, we will take a closer look at the National Trust's Lyveden New Bield and the fascinating history that surrounds it. As the early morning clouds dissolved, making way for the sun to break through, mist wrapped the river and landscape in a gentle blanket of soft white and pink hues. After settling into my early morning cruise, a layer of mist wrapped itself around the bow of Teasel. It was then that I was reminded of the poem Where Go the Boats by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Dark brown is the river, golden is the sand. It flows along forever with trees on either hand. Green leaves a floating, castles of the foam, boats of mine a boating, where will all come home? On goes the river and out past the mill, away down the valley, away down the hill. Away down the river, 100 miles or more, other little children shall bring my boats ashore.
Down by the river, the autumn colours are really starting to show at long last, casting reflections on the still mist-shrouded waters, broken only by the ripples of feeding fish. The wind was absolutely still, and the air laden with moisture, casting a slight pastel mist onto the mirror-like surface of the water. I moored up just a little way upstream from Wadenhoe village in the shade of the ancient willows. Wadenhoe is Saxon for hill ford. Northamptonshire hills are not high, but here the Rockingham Forest Plateau falls upon the River Nene down a green cliff. With the King's Head pub and the village at your back, bear through the gate up the steepish hill to the village church, St Michael and All Angels. After an amazing cruise on board Teasel to my destination, it was time to get some sleep. Having the most wonderful relaxing sleep on Teasel, just listening to the ripples of the water, the next morning the sun was teasing its way above the horizon, and as the sun rose, the mist fell. I've moored up here at beautiful Wadenhoe for the start of the Lyveden Way walk. Well, it's day 2 of my Lyveden Way adventure, and I must say, what a beautiful morning. I've got my camera out. Teasel's moored just over there, so I didn't really have far to go. But what I'm going to try and do is get some really nice simple shots. You can see the sun is reflecting on the water behind me, but I'm going to try and get some really nice simple shots using the mist to simplify the scene a little bit. So I'm going to use my zoom, get in a little bit closer, and probably pick out the trees in the distance there, and I might try a reflection shot as well. So we'll see how they work out. You never know. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but again, like I always say, it's getting up, getting out, get the shot, because if you don't, you'll never know. The sun's coming up now. It's going to be a beautiful day. With my walking boots on and all of the gear packed, not forgetting sandwiches and a hot drink, and of course all my camera gear, it was time to start the 8-mile circular walk. The Lyveden Way is a true taste of Northamptonshire, including sheltered woodland, open fields, attractive wildlife and pretty villages. I'm on the Lyveden Way and I've just stopped because I'm looking across the fields just in front of me, and the fields are freshly ploughed, which look quite nice, but we've got contrasty green of the trees right in the distance. I'm getting quite a nice composition actually. What's attracting me is the way the light is hitting the trees, and you've got the dark of the freshly ploughed fields as well. I've got my camera set up on the tripod. And the view is right in the distance. The ancient woodlands along the walk are home to many varieties of butterfly, fallow deer, and of course the striking red kite. The red kites you are likely to see are more than likely local birds from the Rockingham Forest reintroduction site. Completed between 1995 and 1998, 70 birds were successfully reintroduced. All you can hear is the squeaking of my boots. Oh dear. Walking the Lyveden Way, it's beautiful because It's just peace and quiet. You're away from any roads, in the heart of the Rockingham Forest. It's absolutely stunning to be so close to nature and to not hear anything around you apart from nature as well. It's beautiful. The imposing building of Lyveden New Bield was started by Sir Thomas Tresham but never completed. Inherited by Francis Tresham, Francis Tresham was one of the 1605 gunpowder plot conspirators. The part played in the plot by Francis Tresham is probably crucial in explaining why it failed. It was Tresham who almost certainly sent a letter to Lord Monteagle warning him of the dangers of being in Parliament on November the 5th, the day King James was due to open Parliament.
Remember, the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
Lyveden never got completed because Tresham died in the Tower of London on December the 22nd, 1605. Parts of the old Elizabethan garden are still being discovered today, and it's a pleasure to walk around the grounds and the orchard. Any keen walker will tell you that woods have a special magic. The play of lights through the forest canopy and in the early morning and the evenings is often bewitching. In their benign daylight state, forests can feel like temples of peace and mental calm. Walking back to Wadenhoe, it was time to rest my weary feet. So off with the walking boots and straight into the old barn tea rooms. It's an excellent find and a wonderful stop for a refreshing afternoon tea, or toast like I had. Cheers. Back to Teasle, I felt very lucky and privileged to have all this history and beautiful countryside on my doorstep. What an amazing weekend. I will have to do it again sometime.